Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're not familiar with me, I am known as Nikki Craft around the social media and Create and Craft TV. I demonstrate for Heartfelt Creations, but I do work with a lot of other companies as well. So today I'm going to be doing the third in the series of flower shaping, and what I want to show you today is flower shaping with art foam. So the one that I'm actually using today is a Heartfelt Creations product. It comes in a pack of 10, and I think you get 2 in a pack. I do know that is how we sell it on Create and Craft anyway. So you're going to get 10 in a pack, and it really does go a long way. And it does create absolutely stunning flowers. It really, really does. So I'll just show you a few that I've made. So these ones are made with the Heartfelt Creations Camellia. It's not Camellia at all, it's Clematis. So we're using the Clematis dye here for these ones, and they come in 3 different sizes. So you've got the small, the medium and the large. And it really depends on how you're going to heat them up. So today we're going to concentrate on using the iron. I think that's a much easier and simple way of using it, but you can use your heat gun as well if you're really like a little bit unsure about the iron. Okay, so these ones I've coloured in using, so the line down the centre, I've used my Distress Oxide pencil, not my Distress Oxide, sorry, my Distress pencils. And then I've inked some of them up with Distress Oxides. And then this one here, I've actually used the Derwent Inktense pencils, sorry. I think this one is actually the colour that I used for this, and it's called Deep Rose. And the fact that they're water soluble, and the fact that when you've kind of activated that colour, it sort of like dries and it doesn't wipe off, basically makes it really easy to use on your art foam. And if you look, you can get a little bit more detail in there when you're using your Inktense pencils as well. So as I say, they are sort of like water soluble, so when they dry they are permanent, which makes it really nice to use, because when you are using your Distress Oxide or your Memento, which I've used, so I've used Memento Zeal Teal on these ones here, look. Okay, so the colour does actually, even when you let them dry off, the colour does come off on your hand. Okay, so don't think that you've done anything wrong if you're finding that it comes off. But you can also use archival ink as well. There's so many different ways that you can actually use these, which I will be going through over the weeks in different tutorials, because you can use your pastels, you can use chalk pastels, you can use crayons, and as I say, a multitude of inks. This one, the archival aquamarine, I used on, now I did write on the back of some of these flowers, can't actually see on that one, with that one. So that's using that colour, okay? But again, I've gone down the centre with my Distress pencil just to add that little bit more detail. And then to add that colour, I've used my daubers. So whatever ink I use, I always use my daubers. If you haven't got the Heartfelt daubers, you can of course use any dauber that you've got. So that is the sort of like the inks that we're going to use. So what we'll do is we'll do one with some inks and the Distress pencils, and then I'll do one in the Inktense pencils as well. As you can see, I've used different centers as well. So in this video, I will teach you how to make these centers. Again, these are created out of the foam as well. Really, really realistic, these ones. I love these. Okay, so these ones I've done in a different way. As I say, it depends on how you shape them, what way you put them, whether or not you use it with the colour facing up or facing down onto the iron, what actual effect that you get. So we will go through a few of those ways today. These ones I've just used a few different types of stamens in that one. In this one here, I've used some art foam around the edges, and then I've used some pearl stamens for the centres. So for this part here, the sort of like the spindly spidery bits, what I've done is I've actually cut out some of these. So I'm not actually sure which die set this one came from, but it's sort of like a pinwheel. Okay, and then when you die cut it out, it's going to be, now I have got one here, there we go, they're going to be like that, they're going to be flat. Okay, so we're going to use the iron again to create some dimension with those. I've coloured these ones up using the Distress Oxide, I think Bundled Sage, and then I've gone over it in the Twisted Citron as well, just to add that colour in there. So when you are using your art foam, what's really great about it is that you can actually put it through your die cutting machine with 4, if not 5 layers, depending on your die cutting machine. So as you can see, I've got 4 layers there. And then basically what I would do is I would pop my die on there. So it doesn't matter what die you use, doesn't matter what company your die is from. If it's a flower die, you can use it with your art foam or your foamarium. I know Crafter's Companion do a really great foam, which is another one that I've come across. I think Tattered Lace do one as well. So just have a look, go on Amazon or Create and Craft website, and you'll find some art foam on there. Or if you want to, I can leave a link in the description, and I do actually have some on my eBay, which I think I sell for £12 for 3 packs, which is absolutely an amazing price. And as I say, it does go a long way. So, right, that's that out of the way. I've done some leaves as well. So let me just show you some leaves that I've done. Again, these are from the Clematis. These ones I've coloured in using I think I've used the Inktense pencils on these, because if you can see, look, I've got a little bit of detail in there as well. So they're done with, and I also think I might have used the Distress Oxides on those as well. And then I've just, what we'll do is I'll show you how I've done them in a second, because I'm kind of jumping through now. So let me just move these out of the way, and we'll go into the colouring stage for a start. So let me just move my mat out of the way, and I'm just going to come along, and I'm just popping some paper down so that I can do some colouring. So on this one, we will use the ink, no we won't, we'll use the Distress watercoloured pencils. So what I'm going to do is, if you could just see that there, probably can't see that very well, I perhaps should have used a different coloured paper to put underneath. So what I'm doing is going in there and putting quite a bit of that colour down. Okay, now if you're wondering why I'm using this colour, that's because I've got some projects on the go. So I'm kind of in the process of making lots of different flowers for them. So I'm just going to go down in the centre. Can use any colour you like, obviously, for whatever you're making. So I've just literally gone down, put quite a bit of that colour down on that one. And then what I'll do is, what should we use? Decisions. What colour should I go for? Tell you what, we will go for the Archival Aquamarine on this one. And I will just take that off, and I will go in with my dauber. I'm going to go in, take quite a bit of ink on there, but then what I'm going to do is actually take some of that ink off, and then I'm not adding any water to this, so I'm not kind of activating this colour or anything. I'm just going to go in and add my ink with my dauber, and that kind of just blends that up as well. So you can go up to the top if you want to, or you can add a different colour on there on the tips if you want to, or you can just leave that top just white if you want to. So because I am actually going to be putting some stamens in the centre, I'm not too fussed about colouring the centre of that flower. And then what you want to do is always, doesn't matter whether you're using your art foam or your paper, you always want to go over and colour the back. Okay, that's just so that when you actually put your flowers together and use them on your project, you're not getting that white background. You can go in with a sort of like a coordinating ink if you want. You don't have to go in with the same ink on the back. So then we'll bring that over, and then if you want to, you can go in with a little bit more ink and just add a little bit more darker colour on there. Just coming from that centre and just bringing that colour up. Okay, so that one was using the archival aquamarine, and the watercoloured pencil I've used is peacock feathers on that one. You can see I've just kind of left a little bit of white there just to add a bit of interest, and then on the back. So we're going to want to do two. I like to do 2 layers of my clematis flower. So it's completely up to you. You can do them single, they look just as pretty, but I just want to do 2 of those. So again, just going in there and getting that colour down. Just went over that edge a little bit, but that's absolutely fine. So just get that colour down, go in with my ink again. So the first time I go in, I'm just going to take a little bit off, so I don't get too much on there, because at the end of the day you can always add a bit more, but you can't really take it away unless you go in there with some tissue and kind of rub it. So always best just to go in with a little bit less. Okay, just go in on the back there again, just with my dauber, just getting that colour down. And then I think I will go in with a bit more. So when you see my hand go over, I'm actually getting some more ink on my dauber there. So just turning those petals round. And there you have your 2 petals, okay? So still look pretty if you wanted to do them flat. You know, if you want to post your cards, that's absolutely fine. You don't have to use lots of dimension on them. So that's that way. And then I'm going to, let's just do a small one here. So I'll just turn that over. So I'll just show you what I'm going to do with the Inktense pencils. So what I found when you're using it with the flower foam is you don't really want a really sharp point, okay? So if you have got a sharp point, just go in on a spare piece of paper and just sort of like round that off a little bit. Because if you've got that point, what you're going to do is when you're actually going to go in and colour, you're actually going to scrape your foam and kind of indent it. So you're just going to do exactly the same, okay? Now you can use your Inktense pencils for the centre, and then you can go in with a coordinating ink from your Oxide range or your Memento or your archival or another brand of ink if you like, but you can also go in with a paintbrush or a watercoloured paintbrush, you know, the ones that have the water in them. So I'm just taking some of that colour, the water off, and I'm just going to blend that colour. Okay, so I did take a little bit too much water off there. And you can just blend that colour in with that water. The only thing with this way is you will want to let that dry. Now, another good thing about the Inktense pencils is that once that's dry, as I say, it's permanent. And also then you can go in with another layer. So you could go in with a coordinating colour if you want to, or you can go in with the same colour. So obviously that's still a little bit wet, but I will, as I say, we're on camera and I haven't got another one prepped. I should have had another one prepped. But you can also go in and just add a deep colour in there, like that. And then go in with a fairly dry brush now, so it's not too wet, and add that and just blend that in. Okay. And then that's going to give you a really nice effect. So that's just 2 ways that you can colour. Well, 3 or 4 ways, to be honest, because you could just use your daubers and ink if you want to, if you don't have your distress pencil, or maybe you've got some other pencils that you want to use. And yeah, okay, it looks nothing yet, but when you actually sort of like build it up into your flower using your eye, and that's when you're going to get the results of that. I mean, this really is, can you see where I've got the detail there? I've left the edges a little bit white there as well, which I always think's really nice, just adds a little bit more interest to your flower. So that's what you would do on there. And then if you want to go back in, you need to just colour the back. It doesn't have to be too dark. If you want to add a bit of dark, you can. You can go in with your wet paintbrush, just dab that colour off, and you can go in like this. So it's very, very similar, to be honest, as the previous video when I've done the Inktense pencils on your paper flowers, okay? And if you're not sure, just have a practice on some paper. I mean, obviously, I should have let that dry, so I'm just going to blend that in a little bit more. You can go in and add more colour on that centerpiece if you want to. I'm going to do that with this technique, taking your paintbrush to the tip of your pencil and just get that colour down. And then just go in and just blend that in there. And then what we'll do is let that one dry, and then I'll show you how to shape that. Now you would do exactly the same with your leaf as well. Now a really good technique with the leaf for adding some extra texture is, if you have one, is to use those golf tools. If I can find mine, I've got mine here. So they come in, I think they come in a set of 4. This is the larger one, and it's actually got grooves in it. I think they're called a groove tool, to be honest. And that you can add dimension to your leaves. So say, for example, this one. So I've coloured that in. What I did was I brought my iron. So I've got my iron here. There we go. Let me just put that back side so you can see what I'm doing there. Okay. Can you see the iron? There we go. I think we can see it. So what I'm doing is I've folded my leaf in half, and then just to add a little bit of dimension, I'm adding it to just a little bit, heat that up slightly like that. Obviously you wouldn't have to lift your iron up. I was just doing that so I could show you. And then that basically shapes your leaflet. Okay, if you want to shape the end, you can bring your iron and you can just put your foam on there, just twizzle it around a little bit, and as you can see, that's heated that up, and you can twist like that, and you can add a little bit more dimension there. But with the golf tool, what you can do is you can lay your leaf down and just gently go across from the bottom to the tip of your leaf. So the sort of the same way as you would sort of like when you think of the clematis leaf, the sort of like the markings of it sort of go from the bottom of the leaf up to the tip. So that's the way you would move your golf tool. I'm not sure if you can actually see that. Can you see that, everyone? Hope you can, because that has added quite a nice little bit of dimension to my leaf there. Okay, so that's using your golf tool. You could do exactly the same with your petals as well. I won't do it on these ones, but what I will do is do another video so that we can spend a little bit more time just going a little bit more in depth with those groovy tools, golf tools, whatever you want to call them. They are from Dress My Craft. I got these from Amazon. I think they were around £30. You do have to allow some time for delivery because Dress My Craft, I think, are from India. So they take about 3 weeks to come. Right, so let's get on with the flowers. So first of all, we will do it so that the petals, if we look at this one, if you look, the foam is sort of like coming down. So the coloured image which I've got is facing up, and then the foam has sort of like rounded and shaped sort of like around under. Okay, so the shape's gone under the petal, and that's what we want to do on this one. So to do that, what you want to do is you take your iron. I'm going to just take either a pair of tweezers. To be honest, sometimes I do use my nails, which I really shouldn't do. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sit it on the iron like that, and you can see that curled round, okay? Can you see that's just curled round? And then what you're going to do is I'm going to do it again with this one. And then I'm just going to let go and it's going to drop, basically. So I hope you can see that. I really do. I'm going to move my iron out of the way so I don't burn myself. So whilst these are still warm, what I'm going to do is show you two different ways you can do it. So you can use your finger and your thumb, twist, and as I'm twisting, I'm actually pulling that petal out a little bit. Can you see where I'm pulling? So I'm twisting and pulling, twist and pull. And you're going to do that around all of those petals, like that. And that one. And then just sit that one down, and then I'm going to do exactly the same with this one. Oh dear, excuse me. Oh, I do apologise for that. Now, I would edit that out, but then it takes me ages and then I'd have to sort of start this piece again. So I will keep that in, but I really do apologise and excuse me for that. I could actually feel that coming, but I couldn't stop it. So twisting and pulling, okay, twist and pull. Now with this one, I'll just show you another way. If you don't sort of like have sort of like nimble fingers like I do, I'm taking a pair of tweezers and I'm just going in and holding that like that, and then we're going to do it exactly the same way. Twist and then pull, just gently pull, not too much, okay? And then you're going to just unroll that and you're basically going to get that same effect. And then I'm going to go in with my flower shaping tool. So this is the Heartfelt Flower Shaping tool that I'm using, and I'm just going to cup that in so you can see there. So you can see that's just cupping inside that center, and I'm going to do exactly the same with this one. Cup that in. Now if you wanted to make more of a bud, what you would do is you'd bring that up and then cup that around there, and then when you glue it in, you would glue it a little bit more further up, okay? But what I want to do is I want to create, which one am I going to do? I think I'm going to create sort of like this kind of look on these clematis. As I say, there will be a lot of other videos to come, so lots of different techniques with the same flowers. With the other flowers, I'm going to be working on some roses, I'm going to be working on some peonies in the next few days as well, and they should be uploaded in the next week or two, okay? So what I've got is here is some nail bond glue. It's basically what I stick my nails on with. And what I love about this one is it's actually got a brush, okay? Now this is the easiest and quickest way of gluing your art foam down, okay? You can even use it when you're making your paper flowers as well. So then I'm going to just pop that in the center there, alternating those petals, and just sit that down like that. Okay, and there you have your almost finished clematis flower with those petals sort of like rolled under slightly. Now, if you want a little bit more dimension on that, you can twist and go in again, okay? This is a very similar technique that what you would probably do as well if you was making a sunflower. So if you do actually have the sunflowers, do them in different colours, because I think they'd actually work to make this very similar flower, okay? And then what I'm going to do is, so we'll show you two different ways of putting your stamens in. So on this one, what we'll do is we will do a centre just using a few of these, okay? So to heat this up, I would go in exactly the same as I did the flower, okay? So I'm going to go in like this, and I'm going to just hold that there like that, and you can see, roll it round and it just drop it. Oh, in actual fact, we had two there. Didn't realise there was two. So I'm just going to go in again with that one. As I say, I'm using my nails a little bit, and then you're going to drop it. The longer you leave it on, the smaller that kind of spidery pinwheel thing gets, Okay, so if you only want it to shrink a little bit, don't leave it on your iron or heat it up for too long. Okay, so when we've done that, I've made some centres here, very similar to what I did in the last video, I think it was, which I used some paper, but with this one, I've used some foam. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just show you quickly how I did that. So I've just taken a strip of foam and I've inked it up both sides. Again, you can use whatever colour you like. And then what you want to do is take some smallish scissors, and then what I'm going to do is just snip along, not going to the edge. I'm just going to go in, just leaving a little bit around the edge. It's a bit like if you're into your quilling. Okay, so you're just going to keep going across little tiny snippets, and I think that's probably going to be enough until you've got that. Okay, like a little bit of grass, look, that's what it looks like, and freshly cut grass. And then what you're going to do is you can either use your flower curling tool on the end of your flower shaping tool like that, and that will go in there, and you can roll that around. Oh, hang on a minute, I haven't got my glasses on, I don't want to get my head in. So you can roll that around like that, or you could use your tweezers if you want to, like this, or you could do it just with your fingers, just roll that around like that, nice and tight like that, or you can go in, pop that bit in there with your tweezers. This is probably about the easiest way of doing it, actually, using your tweezers. And then when you get to that end like that, just going to take my nail glue again, and you really want a tiny bit. I'm just going to add a little tiny bit on the end there, and just hold that there just for a few seconds. There we go, and there you have that centre. So that you can have a proper look, what I'll do is I'll take my tweezers again, and I'll just hold that like that, and then you can see what a beautiful centre that makes. So you can make these longer, you can make them shorter, you could do them in different colours, but it's a fantastic way of actually making centres for your flowers, even if it's paper flowers. I think these would look good in your paper flowers as well. Add some glitter as well, that'd look great. So then we're going to come back, and I'm going to take 3 of my curly spidery things. We'll leave those small ones for a second, and I'm going to go in and just add a little bit of glue in there. This is where your tweezers do come in handy. And then I'm just going to add that one in the center. Let go with my tweezers. And then I'm going to go in with, I think we will go in with this one actually, this smaller one. Probably, do I need the smaller one? I'm just kind of thinking, because I'm going to put that, yeah, we'll go in with the smaller one. Okay, this is where you can kind of just use your imagination and make different centres. Add that bit of glue and then pop that in there like that. And then I'm going to take that little kind of quilled centre, just hold that with my tweezers, go in with a little bit of glue, just put my glue over there so I don't knock it over, and then what I'm going to do, bring it up to the camera so you can see, I'm going to pop that in the centre there, going to let go with my tweezers, and then just wait for that to dry. It's pretty kind of instant because it is a nail glue. And there you have the centre of your clematis. How realistic is that? In actual fact, that's like a little spider chrysanthemum. That's another flower that we'll be working on in another tutorial, a chrysanthemum. So again, I'm going to take my glue and just add a little bit in the center of my flower, and then add that in there. Once that's dry, like that, what I'm going to do is just take a small tipped tip on my flower shaping tool, and then if you want to add a little bit more dimension, if you want to twist a bit more, you can just take that out. You can add some glitter if you want, but there you have a really pretty clematis flower. So another centre that you could do is, as I say, you can just add your different stamens that you might have. I've got some pearly ones here. I've done some different ones. You can add some purples, you can add whatever colour you like. And I've just using some florist wires. So these are sort of like a medium weight one. I think the weight of these they're done in gauge, so it's a 28 gauge. Okay, and I think these are absolutely perfect for your flowers. And these, again, I have got these on Amazon. I do love my Amazon, so you will hear me raving on about Amazon. Not always the cheapest. So what I tend to do is I go on Amazon first, find the product that I want, and then I go and check over on eBay, and then I put it in Google and see if I can find an online shop. So these are some small stamens that I've got. These are Heartfelt Creations ones actually, and they work in really well with these flowers that I'm making at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that up like a U shape or a V, whatever you want to call it, and then I'm just going to pull that up, and I'm just going to hold that at the top like that. So I've got 3 of these. Now what I like to do is I like to bring my wire across just a little bit there, sort of like I've gone 1 inch over there. I actually cut these wires in half, and then again just bending that around like that and sitting that on top. Then I'm going to take that wire and just bring that all the way round as tightly as you can get it, because that means that's going to go nicely in the center of your flowers. Now because I've done it like that, you see, that's actually holding those stamens up. And that is a technique that I learnt when I did my floristry course many years ago. Because I don't know whether any of you know, I'm actually a florist by trade. So that's why I absolutely love my flowers. Right, so that's that centre. So I could pop those in the centre of my flower. I haven't actually moulded these ones yet, so we'll do these ones in a second. I could just use those on their own, or I could use them alongside the spidery bits that we've done. So what I'm going to do with this one, we'll do this a different way. So last time I did it with the petal face down. With this one, we'll do it the other way with the petal faced like that, and that's going to lift those petals the other way this time. Okay, and then I'm going to twist again, very similar, twist and pull. As I said, there's lots of different techniques you can use with the flower foam, but this one is the one that I wanted to use to sort of make my clematis. So this one is sort of like a different variety of clematis. I've done the bottom, so these petals, I heated these up just before I came on the video, and this one I did the other way. So these ones are actually facing down, this one is facing up. Okay, as you can see, the ink is actually coming off on this one. This is using the Oxides. I know that because I wrote the O on the bottom there to remind me. So with this one, I'm going to use on the bottom, and then with the one where the petals are going upwards, I'm going to have that on the top. So I'm going to come in with my glue, just add, oh, nearly spilled that, a little bit in the center. You don't need too much, and then I'm going to pop that on just like that, alternating those flowers. So these petals come in between the bottom ones, come in with my shaping tool, And then I'm just going to bring that up. So this is kind of like a different kind of flower. Just goes to show you can have one flower die and there's a multitude of ways that you can actually shape it. Okay. And then what should we do for the center of this one? Tell you what we'll do. We'll bring in one of these. I've got another one somewhere. Got that little one there. Look, we'll pop that one in the center there. So just add a little, whoops, dropping my glue again. So we'll just add a little bit of glue in the center there, making sure that that is up. I'm going to take my tweezers like that, and then I'm going to pop that in the center there. Now if you don't have long nails like me and you don't want to glue your nail, you can use a flower shaping tip just to hold that in there, or you can hold your tweezers in there. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to glue that in the center of my flower there. Not really sure what this flower is. It's a bit like a lily, I don't know, like a, you know, the lilies that sit on the pond, kind of looks a little bit like that. So then I'm going to, so that I don't stick my fingers down on there, I'm going to take that with my tweezers, pop that in the center like that, let go, and then just move that around until it's in the middle. And that's the center. Now that looks really pretty and it looks nice on its own, okay? But if I then go in with my golf tool, groovy tool, whatever you want to call it, tool there with the other end, pop a hole through it. Now I do hope this glue's dry. So because it graduates in size, I can actually just get that hole as big as I want it. Then I've got some pearl stamens there, already on my wire. Pop that in there. I just hope that I have pulled that. Yeah, made that absolutely perfect. Now look at that. Love that one. Absolutely love it. You are going to have so much fun. Honestly, if you have never ever used art foam before, do have a look in the link in the description, because I will link it to my eBay. As I say, I think I'm selling them for 3 packs for £12 plus I think it's about £1.75 or £1.95 delivery. So you're actually getting 30 sheets for basically £12 plus delivery, and you are going to get a lot of flowers out of that one. So there you go. That's just 2 different ways that I've just showed you how you can make your clematis flowers. I love this one. Absolutely love it. And the centers are absolutely gorgeous. Do you know, I could actually just do a video making just different centers for flowers. Absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. So these are just some others that I've made there. Just putting some stamens in the center there. Then I've got these ones where I've done the petals going upwards. And these were using the Inktense pencils on those as well. So that's just a couple of ways that you can create your flowers using your art foam. So I really have hope that you've enjoyed my video. I will be making these into some projects at some point, so you will be seeing them over the next few weeks over here on YouTube. I'll try and do a few more videos, making more cards. I've got some art journals that I'm working on. I'm working on a lot of different things at the minute, so please bear with me. I've also got, of course, the launch of the brand new Heartfelt Creations collection that I'll be launching on Create and Craft on, I do believe it is the 30th or the 31st. I don't think there is a 31st in March, is there? I think it's the 30th of March. I will be launching the brand new Heartfelt Creations collection. And yes, you probably will see flowers in that one. So there you go. If you're watching and you're a Heartfelt fan, now you know there's some flowers coming later this week. So anyway, thank you for joining me, and I will see you again soon. And don't forget, like and subscribe. I really would appreciate, I love it when you comment as well. So if you've got any questions, any comments, please do leave a comment. And also, if you're not already a member, if you want to be a member of my group over on Facebook, it is Nikki and Friends Crafting with Heartfelt and More. And when I say more, that means any products you like, you'll see it in my group. So yeah, hope to see you there. Thanks very much, everyone. Bye.